thought that he meant consequences from the spirits, right? And then he flat out threatens these people himself, being like, I'm gonna come back and lay waste to your asses. Like, oh, okay.
The spirits are gonna call a guy, and then that guy's gonna call a guy. And then that guy, he's gonna call me, and I'm gonna kill all of you.
At this point, when he immediately goes to himself and he's not even talking about the spirits anymore, I'd be like, wait a minute. So, you're just an asshole, and you didn't even talk to the spirits, did you? You dick.
Yeah, when they finally get him figured out.
Yeah.
Smart mother. You almost still have to let him go and just be like, you know what? Well played. You got 99% of us within 5 minutes being like, no, he's probably right.
Ooh, spirits.
And the corn's not going to grow, and we're all going to die, and yeah. We've been this way for 3,000 years, and tomorrow it's going to get all fucked up.
Yeah, you waltzed in, and shit's all different now.
So, I like this part. Richard tells Verna to get her ass in the saddle, and it's time to go. Mm-hmm. Remember, she was the getaway driver in the last chapter.
Yep, ass in the seat.
She resists, like she does, saying that he's crazy, and that they can't travel through the Crescent anymore.
So we're fucked. Where we're gonna go?
Yeah, the whole trip has just been ruined.
You threw the map out, Richard.
And Richard's like, well, look, we're gonna follow Duchailu, because this is her shit. Well, just over there is her shit, and she knows the way. So, we're good.
He's like, I got a plan, bitch. It's fine.
Yeah, and you can stay if you want to. By all means. If you just want to sit here and pout until them dudes decide that it's been long enough and they're going to come and chase me down anyways, and they find you, I'll be gone.
Hey, by the way, you literally have nowhere else to go. Bye.
Right. So he gives Duchailu the knife and he tries to get her on the horse. She does not want to ride the horse because it stinks. And Richard, total boss move, he just screams at her that she does too. You're fucking gross and you smell like a horse. Freaks her out. But, I mean, she listened because he's a very intense man. And if he starts screaming at you, I would listen. And I don't look down on anybody else who would listen.
Okay. Here's my thing. Number one, like, I feel like her making the comment about the horse stinking at this point is, like, super out of light. Like, hey, we're getting away. You were gonna die. What the fuck are you complaining about what your ride smells like for? Like, seriously? Shut up.
Right. Smelly horse and freedom, or not freedom and probably death.
Yeah. So, like, I get him yelling at her. Now, him yelling at her about her smelling was a little bit out of line.
Yeah.
Because, like, she couldn't really control her smell. So that was a little bit like, whoa, Richard, calm down.
Difference between you and the horse is I like the horse. And he smells better. Fuck you.
I washed the horse. So don't talk shit about the horse.
What a way to start the trip. Well, with that, I think it's time for a beer.
Yeah, I agree.
So tonight we're doing something, again, a little different. I've been saying that a lot lately, and I don't hate it.
Yeah, well, change of pace.
Yeah. So I was at our local grocery store when I saw an advertisement for mixing beers. I'm sorry, I'm done.
What year is it?
I promise I'm done. And I'm a big fan of Guinness Stout. It's just right. It's dialed in for me. I enjoy it very, very much. And it's also going to be Halloween here very, very soon. Mm-hmm. So I thought maybe a pumpkin ale, which is something I typically avoid.
Yep.
I don't like pumpkin in my coffee. It tastes like a sweater. I don't know if that makes sense to any of you, but it's true. It's true.
Yeah, no, it is.
So I was hesitant to try it in beer. But as it turns out, if you mix it 50-50, you have to pour the pumpkin ale in first. It's the kind we're drinking is actually Ichabod. We can probably speak to how good that is, too, because it stands on its own. Plus, if you mix it with Guinness, it's fucking delicious.
Yeah, I had one by itself last night, and I mean, like you said, I avoid pumpkin stuff normally unless it's a pie. I love pumpkin pie.
Yeah,
a
well,
lot.
yeah.
But I think because of that, this is starting to grow on me a little bit. I'm starting to like, hey, this is like the liquid form of your pie. It's fine.
Yeah, and beer.
And beer, yeah.
It's Thanksgiving in a glass.
Yeah. How can you hate?
I'm in.
And the cup is like, with the mix that we had, it's black and orange. So, totally Halloweeny.
Yeah, these were called, what are they?
Irish spice?
Irish spice, when you mix Guinness with a pumpkin ale. But also, they're called black and blondes when you mix a clear beer with a dark one.
Oh, yeah.
And so this is a black and orange. AKA.
Well, it's good, and I need another one.
It is very good, and I'm empty too. So we're going to go get one more, and we'll be back right after this.
And we're back. So, once they're in Bakabanmana territory, they make camp for the night. Verna makes a backhanded comment about being happy that Dew didn't die, but also sad about all the ones that will die because of her. And Dew calls her out on that shit, and Verna's like, hey, I don't want anyone to die, but I'm not going to go ahead and go out of my way to try and convince you of that fact, so believe whatever the fuck you want.
Well, then why'd you bring it up, asshole?
Right?
Like, that's on you, man. Don't start shit and then refuse to defend yourself. Speak.
Well, it's because she wanted to be an asshole. That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
The type of people who are like, well, believe whatever you want, those are the type of people who really want you to believe the bad stuff because they don't care enough to convince you otherwise, because they don't care enough.
Right. So, Dew tells Verna, in no uncertain terms, that she is fucking pregnant with one of those piece of shit's baby, and she's gonna have to get rid of it. Both Richard and Verna tell her not to do it. Verna doesn't want her to do that because a baby is a gift, and Richard doesn't want her to do it because the baby didn't do anything wrong. And kids aren't necessarily bad just because their parents are, something that Richard would know something about.
Okay. And Richard gets into it here in a second, and I get he has a personal connection to it. This is a very pro-life stance that is taken here.
Mm-hmm.
And I get people who believe that way, but you don't have to keep a rapist baby.
No.
Like,
No.
You shouldn't be pressured into it by being, it's a gift. Babies are a gift. A gift from a rapist? I don't want rapist gifts. Thank you. Keep your gifts. Okay, keep them in your pants and away from me. Thank you.
This has been a PSA. You can fuck yourself.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to fuck anybody else.
Yeah. Verna explains Richard's stance a little bit more, though, because he was a product of rape, but he was raised with good parents because his mom decided that she was going to go through with it, and he didn't have to become, a product of his father just because his father was a piece of shit.
Right.
And Dew owes her life to Richard's mother making that choice. So she's like, okay, guys, I'll fucking think about it, but, let's move on. So Verna worries that the Majandai will realize that Richard was lying and everything's going to go to hell once the crops start growing. But Richard reveals a plan and gives Dew the bird whistle from the Birdman. He tells her every time the Majandai plant their seed, she is to sneak in and call the birds who will come and eat all of it up. Keep doing this until they agree to peace. If she abuses it, he's going to come back and use his other magic on her people and fuck them up. So, do it right.
She just watched him back 1,000 soldiers down and shoot an arrow into the wrist of the woman who was in charge of her kidnapping. And then he gives her this opportunity to keep peace between these two. Are these countries or are these villages?
I think it's tribes.
Okay. Either way, he just facilitated peace between these two tribes who have been at war with each other for thousands of years. So I'm sure she's ready to do whatever the hell it is he wants her to do.
Yeah, I mean, she's a little bit feisty, but I think if he's, like, laying down the rules and things are gonna be okay from now on, she's gonna do it, especially because, like, she got her life because of it.
Right.
Verna, however, is not pleased with any of this. She tells him it's gonna cause more harm than good, and on top of that, now they're not gonna be able to get any more boys through this land.
Oh, bummer.
Richard solves that problem real quick, though, by being like, hey, dude, you're going to make this one of the conditions of peace, that the boys and the wise women can still get through here. Now, I feel like I appreciate him trying to go through the effort of being like, oh, I fixed this by just tacking it on over here. But the Queen Mother literally just said the agreement that has held for 3,000 years is done. Just because you say, hey, it's a condition of our peace.
Yeah, that doesn't change anything.
Yeah, no. By the way, we've now talked to our spirits, even though you said it was going to be an insult, and they said, you were fucking lying.
That's what I'm waiting for. And I mean, there's a couple of people at the village I feel I could have figured it out. But then the best point is going to be like the next day when they go, holy shit, he fucking lied. Holy shit, he lied. And they have to tell somebody.
Because, I mean, the crops not growing are definitely proof, but at some point they are going to talk to their fucking spirits again. Right. And I can't imagine that they're just not going to mention it.
No, we never said that.
That was a total lie. And then
said what?
And then how can you uphold the peace that was... I mean, I guess maybe you're so deep into the peace then that you wouldn't want to start fighting, but pride, I think, would cause a lot of people to be like, no, fuck those people.
We're running with it.
Yeah.
So Verna says she's glad in a way that he took this decision out of her hands. Like, he handled this whole...
She doesn't have to do the human sacrifice bullshit anymore.
Right.
Although, she hasn't really had to do that before, right? Like,
no, I don't think it was her responsibility, but I also think she's just happy that Richard is totally going to get the blame for all of this, and then once she gets him back to the Palace of the Prophets, she's done with his ass.
As we're talking, I'm realizing that it was said in the chapter, like, implied that she's had to deal with this for a while. Like, she's had to personally deal with the human sacrifice part of it all. But I don't think she actually really has she? Because she's never really had to go get a boy before.
No, I mean, even if Verna had made other voyages, which we know that they don't, because she had to cross the Towers of Perdition, right?
Yeah.
So this was her only time. She may know what's customary, but no, this would have been her only time doing this.
Okay. All right. I feel like while I was reading, I definitely thought she's had dealt with this before, but no, this is her first time, so she doesn't get any sympathy.
Right.
Nah. All right. Okay.
So Richard explains that today was not about him and her. It was about right and wrong. He didn't want to piss her off, but like I don't think most of us could. I can't just live with myself if I allowed this terrible thing to happen. Like, it's going to haunt me for my own selfish reasons. Like,
yeah.
I can't handle living with that. So I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Easy.
So, fuck the rules. And look how easy it was to fuck the rules.
Yeah. Turns out it works, Verna. You should try it.
Literally, all I had to do was run out. It was totally fine.
I literally asked him for the key.
I said, hey, give me your clothes. Hey, we're leaving. Bye.
That sandwich is pretty good. What you got there, Sprite? That's what I'm picturing, Sam Jackson. Just eyeball fucking that guy while he's finishing his... Can I have that? Wow, you really let me do it. So, before dinner, Verna passes Richard some soap and says, "Do needs a bath," which we know because Richard apparently screamed that in her face like a madman. She gets offended. Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
But Verna tells her she would just want to wash those men off of her if she were her, which sobering and makes total sense.
Yeah.
Do obviously says she does, but Richard needs a bath too, since he smells like a fucking horse. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
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 She fucking... She's like, fuck you, Richard.
Yeah. You smell bad, you dick.